Hello, it's Maya Andreasen, and we're continuing our series on rigging fundamentals and specifically constraints and the different types. So this particular video is going to go over several different constraints in action, as well as the pole vector constraint. So we're going to be using point constraints, we will be using an aim constraint, and we're going to be using a pole vector constraint. So a pole vector constraint causes the end of a pole vector to move to and follow the position of an object or the average position of several objects. It's used in IK rigs, and typically it is used in regards to the elbow or knee control, which are attached to the pole vector using a pole vector constraint of the IK handle. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is use a point constraint on our knee control here. Now I'm going to group that knee control, and I'm going to copy the name of the knee control to the group, but put G underscore in the front. And the reason why I'm doing this is I'm going to be putting all my constraints on the group, therefore leaving the knee control itself nice and clean in its translate, rotate, and scale values over in the channels. So I'm going to select my hip control here, and if I go into the outliner and hit F, we can see it better. So it's the left hip. And then I'm going to control select the ankle. And then I'm going to select our group, and I'm going to go to rigging, constrain, point, options box, and let's reset our settings and hit apply. Okay, now we demonstrated this earlier with our point constraint, but we did it with models instead. And this time we're using it with the rig, but as you can see, the same effect occurs. You select two objects and then a third, and use the point constraint to point that object directly in the center of the other two objects you have selected. Excuse me. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is use an aim constraint, because we want to aim our control along whatever the pole vector is for our IK handle. And by the way, if you take a look over here, you can see that we have a pole vector X, Y, and Z. That is attached. That is a part of our IK handle, rather. Okay, so this time we are going to select our knee. If I can get to it. All right, come on. There we go. We're going to select the knee joint, and then we're going to select the group. So we have selected our knee joint, and then we control selected over here in the outliner the knee group. And we're going to go to constrain, aim, options box, and we are going to reset settings. Maintain offset will be off. Let's hit W so we see the direction that we need to aim. And it looks like our aim vector needs to be in the Z. So we'll make that 1. And then we're going to do a vector type scene up, and we're going to click add. Okay. And we now have this positioned in the proper direction. Now we no longer need our constraints, so we can get rid of them. And we're going to select our group, and we're just going to move it forward in the Z. And now that we've done that, we can set our pole vector constraint. Hopefully you can see. Let's see. Yeah, they might be able to see a little bit better now. So I'm going to select my actual knee control, not the group. And I'm going to shift select my IK handle. And if all's well, we won't see any shifting here. And we're going to go to constrain pole vector. And that's it. We have set our pole vector constraint. And as you saw, there was no shifting in our knee or anything like that. If we now just select the control and move it, you will see that it does indeed move our knee. which is fantastic. Now, let's do one other constraint, because if I were to lift up my leg control, it doesn't drive the knee control. And that's a problem, because if my character's walking forward and the knee does not follow, what's going to happen if it's staying put is it's going to cause knee flipping, because there's a constraint there. There's a pull vector constraint, and so the knee joint is going to flip backwards because the knee control is behind it or to the side of it or wherever. And so we want to avoid the knee flipping issues. So in order to do that, we are going to select our leg control. So it's this control here. And then we're going to control select our knee group. Not the knee control itself, but the knee group, the group on the knee control. And we're going to use another point constraint. We're going to go constrain point options box, because this time we want maintain offset on. And we're going to hit apply. So now, when I lift my foot control, as you can see, the knee control also moves in conjunction with it, when before it did not. All right, that is a review of point constraints, aim constraints, an introduction to pull vector constraints, and an overall review. Until next time, I'm Mayanne Andreasen. Bye-bye.